Hiya, welcome to video number 3. So we start with the blues, and this is Wilson. He is 18 inches, he's made of 100% mohair, and he is limited to only 250 pieces. Now Wilson's colour, almost like a normal summer's day. So a little bit of blue sky, a little bit of grey clouds. So that's the way we explain Wilson. He's got slightly stiffer joints in his legs. He won't stand on his own, but if you do get a neck brace for him, then you can actually stand him like that. But he looks perfectly good enough just sat down as well. And he's slightly wobblier jointed in his arms. That's so he can give you a right good old wave. So that is Wilson. I'm then going to move on to Sapphire. Now this is all on page 21. So this is Sapphire, who again you've seen on QVC. Probably the lighting on QVC was probably better, so you might have been able to see this colour a bit better. I'm going to bring him right up to the camera for you, so you can really see the different colours kind of running through that particular mohair. And as you can see, it's kind of a very deep sapphire blue, but then with some slightly darker tipping on there, and that really makes his colour stand out. So that is Sapphire. Sapphire is 16.5 inches, limited to only 300 pieces. The one thing to remember about this whole Isabelle collection is that it's now a worldwide limit. So you can buy these anywhere in the world, at a number of our stockists. You can do a search online, or perhaps even call through to the bear house and we'll be able to assist you to find the bears that you want to go for. So that is Sapphire, and goes beautifully with Wilson. So that's the two set together. So there you go. I'm then going to move on to the big boy within the blues, and that is Kane Bear. And Kane is again quite a heavy bear. He's actually 20.5 inches. Limited to only 350 pieces. He's a standing bear, so his legs should be stiffer jointed, slightly wobblier in the arms again. We've waxed over the top of the nose there, but it's a beautiful kind of dusky blue mohair, and absolutely stunning. We've used a ragtag scarf again, which has got the little red beads on there as well. We've got one there which is just like a coppery coloured bead, but it's almost like a corduroy type material, stroke velvet almost. So the Kane is lovely, and actually one of our Emmerdale collection. So if you saw that before, you know that Charlie and I are from Yorkshire, so we like all things Yorkshire. So that's Kane. We're then going to move on to Atlantic, and just so that you can see the size difference, I'm just going to put Atlantic and Kane together, just so you can see exactly what they look like sat as a pair. What Charlie likes to do is this kind of thing, so they're just kind of looking up at each other and just enjoying each other's company. So Atlantic is almost a deep sea blue, so slightly different colour to Sapphire, slightly darker in colour to Sapphire. But again, we've used some slightly darker kind of tipped mohair on there as well. Sculpted paw pads, and this is like a suedette type material on the paw pads. All sculpted, and that's a black paw pad that we've used with beautiful bell accessories. And Atlantic 17 inches, limited to only 400 pieces. Now, if you like the alpaca bears, we have Jim Jams. I'm just going to sit these two next to each other because I think, again, these two look absolutely stunning as a pair. Now, I did mention on my last video that alpaca was from a goat. That was wrong. Alpaca's from an alpaca, of course. So I do apologise about that. So this is Jim Jams. Now, what people may not know about Jim Jams is that Jim Jams was chosen by our very own James here at the Bear House, and my nickname for James is Jim Jams. So when I'm calling him up the stairs, I say, "Jim Jams, your coffee's ready." Well, it's normally the other way around. I normally say thanks, Jim Jams. And that's exactly how his name came about. So this is James's favourite from the whole collection. That's why he got called Jim Jams. So Big Bear, he is 22 inches, limited to 350 pieces, and 100% alpaca. Remember, alpaca comes from an alpaca, not from a goat. So that is Jim Jams. Okay, Bingo next. Bingo is 13 inches and limited to only 400 pieces. Bingo is kind of almost like a rusty red colour, and again, absolutely superb. You will have to excuse me with some of these colours because I am in fact colourblind, which many people don't know, which means I do struggle between certain shades, but I can certainly see this bear and I can certainly see that he's lovely. So I'm going to bring him up to screen so you can see his colour a little bit more. There we go. So there you can see, again we've just kind of airbrushed over the top of his nose. And when I talk about a waxy finish over the top of his nose, that's exactly what I mean there. So that is Bingo. And Bingo, like I say, is 13 inches, limited to only 400 pieces. We then move on to Fiddle Stick, who has been sat gently waiting with his best mate, Doolittle. So, yeah mate, it's your turn. So I'm just going to put the two next to each other so you can tell the different greens in the mohair there. So this here is Fiddle Stick, and he is 14 inches and limited to only 300 pieces. He's got flat paw pads, he's got a little bit of a tickly toes at the top there, and on his little paws, slightly wobble jointed in his arms, and also wobble jointed in his legs as well. What we normally do is we normally wobble joint the arms more than the legs, and also sometimes we also wobble joint the neck joint, and that's because we like to give them all plenty of personality. So that is Fiddle Stick. Next we move on to another one of my kind of bears, and this is Solitaire. Solitaire again is alpaca, and a very beautiful bear who has been there and done it. That's what I like in a bear, something which is really traditional looking, that could have been there for years and years and years, or it could be absolutely brand new. This is my kind of idea of a bear. As Charlie says, it's my cup of tea with 2 sugars in it. So, and this is Solitaire. So he wears his scarf, which is adorned with tiny little bits and pieces of jewels and buttons and things like that. So it's absolutely beautiful. 17.5 inches, limited to 500 pieces. So he won't be as tough to find as some of the other pieces that are limited to 200 pieces, but absolutely stunning. Excuse me. We then have Wobble, who is here. This is little Wobble with his oversized head and his little whites behind his eyes there, so it gives the who me look. And if you look very, very carefully at the bear, again I'm just going to bring him closer for you, he's just got very slightly darker bits of mohair there, almost like rusty colours of mohair. And also, again, we talk about the sparse mohair. This is, again, another very, very sparse mohair, so it will have the appearance of age. So that is Wobble. He has a beautiful proper bell around his neck and a stunning big ribbon to match his big personality. Slightly wobble jointed, again in his arms, in his legs and on his head. So again, I'll just show you how we deal with wobble jointed bears, and that is to sit them back, look him over his shoulder, and that's it. He's quite happy sat there on his own. So that is our Wobble. We then move to Artio, Now, for anybody who doesn't know, Artio is the god of bears. And Artio is actually a standing bear, and there are so many colours running through this bear, absolutely stunning. It's very difficult for me to describe the colours, but almost there's kind of blue tipping going through here, bits of lilac, bits of cream, and almost the same colour as Precious. Again, we talked about Precious, kind of cream mohair. Again, slightly sparse mohair, but she should have stiff joints in her legs, and again, slightly wobbly joints in her arms. So this is Artio, 15.5 inches, limited to 400 pieces, and 100% mohair. We then move on to, about you've already seen on QVC, the wild and wacky Tattycoram. And that is a word, I promise you. Maybe it's a made-up word by Charlie, who knows. But this is Tattycoram, and she wears a stunning necklace around her neck. You've already seen this bear. This is a mohair which shouldn't be really used for this size of bear, but you know, again, it's Charlie's way of kind of going against the grain and saying, no, we will use that kind of mohair. So it's a sparse mohair used on the arms and on the legs, and then this kind of full mohair here. And if you want a different look to Tattycoram, you can always brush your hair down like that. So absolutely beautiful. Tattycoram, limited to 450 pieces and 16 inches in size. So that is Tattycoram. Two more bears on this video. We've got Wordsworth, who a lovely number of colours again running through, light blue to almost a very kind of pale pastel yellow colour, and then this beautiful golden ribbon that she wears around her neck with an incredibly beautiful aged bell around the neck as well. So that's Wordsworth, 15 inches, limited to 500 pieces, 100% mohair and 100% delicious. And she also has the wobble joints and also the Humi look behind the eyes. So that is Wordsworth. And then the last one in this particular section is Amelie, who stood right up here. And again, she's a standing bear. And again, I think you saw this one on QVC. She is limited to 350 pieces and 17 inches in height. But what we've done with this particular heart pendant is we've actually sprayed it with a dark spray and some little wooden beads around the neck here. So this is one of Charlie's Panda. This is a chocolate brown colour and also like almost like a very light grey kind of duck eggy blue type colour to our Amelie. So that's it for video number 3, and stay tuned for the last video, hopefully number 4.